Dear friends, today for a change, I am going to be a raconteur. So, who is a raconteur? A raconteur is a person who recounts a tale, a story. In simple meaning, a storyteller. And today, I am going to narrate or recount the story of eclipse as enshrined in our epics, notably the Mahabharata. Now let us come to the story. The war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas were on. Now the Kauravas had a typical military formation. It was a complex formation. It is known as labyrinth. The word labyrinth is even in use today. A labyrinth is a confusing, confounding situation. I will give an example. If you go to a department to procure a certificate, you may be perhaps made to run from pillar to post. When you go to one table, you have to go to the other table. When you go to one office, you will have to go to another office. When you go to the office with a document, they may ask for a new one, which they had not asked you to bring. So all these are difficult processes. So you can even say that procuring a certificate is a labyrinthine process. So what is a labyrinth? It's a confusing maze. Here, in military terms, the labyrinth is a military formation. And the problem with this formation is that a brave warrior could open the labyrinth and enter. One could force oneself in. It was Arjuna's son Abhimanyu, the brave young warrior, who broke the labyrinth and entered it. But the young, callow warrior was not resourceful enough to get out of the labyrinth unscathed. So, he was encircled by the enemies and he was about to be felled down. Immediately, Lord Krishna, the savior of the Pandavas, played a trick. He took out his Sudarshan Chakra, his weapon, and he covered the sun with the disc. And as the disc covered the sun, it seemed as though night had already descended. Now, I missed out a vital point. When Abhimanyu was encircled and killed, Arjun had taken an oath. He vowed to avenge his son's death before sunset that day. If by any chance he failed, he would take away his life. That was his solemn oath. So, Arjun couldn't kill the slayers of his son. And as he was about to take away his life, Lord Krishna, the perpetual savior of the Pandavas, played the trick. He sent his disc up and covered the sun. And the Kauravas thought that it was already dusk. And at dusk, the war should stop. That was an important rule of war in those times. So by dusk, the war will end. And the Kauravas came out in great happiness. And they were happy because Arjun couldn't fulfill his promise. And just when all the Kaurava soldiers came out of the labyrinth, Lord Krishna pulled out the disc or the Sudarshan Chakra. And then the sun was in all its glory. So actually, the sun had not set. And Arjun had all the enemies before him and he slayed them one by one. And he fulfilled his oath. This is the story of the eclipse. Eclipse, as you know, is one heavenly body covering another one. Notably, the sun being covered by other planets, or the sun covering the moon, or vice versa. So, in our lore, or in our folk stories, or in our myth, this is the first instance of the sun being covered and an eclipse happening. It would be a very interesting coincidence that even today, the epic called Mahabharata is dated by reckoning the eclipses that occurred during the time period, roughly 5,000 years ago. So, this is a story I wanted to recount. I hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you.